everybody. I have finished creating my covers, painting my covers. This is the back, the inside that will be attached to the page, so I just need the edges done. I did use 2 coats to make sure that I covered everything up. So we're not going to attach those yet. So what I want to do is I want to take our pages and make sure that you figure out what where your front page is, and just put a little marking on it, the front and back maybe, which is what I've done. So the way you want to figure that out is that you're going to attach this page to your cover, and so you want to start doing the things that we're going to be doing now, beginning here. So you don't want to be backwards and having the book open up a different direction. So this is my front, and if it helps you, you can put a little F on each page so that you make sure you don't switch it around. But for the most part, what we're going to be doing today, even if you put something on this page and something on this page, it won't matter, they'll just be covered up. Okay, so what I want to do is kind of go through the supplies that I think I'm going to be using, and I'm not sure exactly that whether I'll use all of them or not, but I'm just going to start, and by the time I finish this video, I'll know what I've used, and I'll put it in the description. Okay, so what we're going to do, what I want you to do is I want you to collect various pages. Now this is a candy bar that I love, and the paper, you don't want anything that's really thick. This paper is relatively thin, so it is a nice color. It's something different than the rest of these papers, so I thought I might use that. I've got some ledger papers from 2 different ledgers. I have some white gesso on deli paper. I have a receipt from Berry Seed Company. This is actually a page from my book. That book page, the book that I used to create my covers. And I've got various things. I've got some Chinese dictionary and Japanese to English dictionaries. I've got an envelope, which is dated 1914, and I have the corresponding letter. I have another envelope, which is dated 1942. I hope you're able to see what I'm doing. And then I have a song page, from a hymnal, and I have various, I have one page from various books that will give me a variety of patinas and text and all that. So here's another music page from a hymnal, and just various pages. So whatever you have, that's what I want you to collect. And any of these things that I'm showing you are optional, and so, most of them are optional. So I just want you to pick what is good for you, what you already have. Okay, so I want you to select 1 or 2 or 3 colors. And the colors that you select, you can have all different kinds of products that go with it. Like this is one of the colors I'm going to use. And I'm kind of going with fall colors, because this is my Thanksgiving sort of journal. So these 2 colors are close. This is close. They don't have to be exact, but as long as they're kind of in the same thing. And the other color that I'm going to use is green. And so I've got a green paint marker, and I have a green spray. I think this is a gloss spray, Nina Wegley gloss spray. I have a distress stain, and I have This is another one that's kind of the same family here. It's antique bronze, which will give me some shimmer. And this is actually a distressed spritz and twisted citron, which is kind of a yellow color, and I thought it might highlight. So just pick out 2 or 3 colors that you like. They don't have to be fall. That just happens to be what I'm doing. So you could do a Christmas one, or you could do a spring one, or whatever you want to do. And in addition to these paints, I want you to find something that's kind of this buff color. This is Golden's Titan Buff. That's what I'm using. You're going to need some gesso. This is just a little container of gesso. You're going to need some archival ink if you're going to use stamps, which I intend to use. I've got a few of them that are out. I've got a couple of stitch type stamps. If I turn it over, you probably can tell better. You see what they are. I'm using those 2. I'm going to use this one, but I'm not going to mount it because I just want to kind of, put it down in various places. And the same thing with this script. Okay, so then I've got one stencil that's got some circles on it that I like, and I want to put them in this journal. I have some masking tape, both craft and just the regular manila sort of masking tape, and you can use any width that you want to use. I've got, excuse me, I have a pair of scissors. I have a scraper tool. I have a blending tool for my for my archival inks. I've got a glue stick. I have paintbrush. Well, before I get to that, I have a number 2 pencil. I have a Stabila Marks All pencil. I have a paintbrush for watercolor, various paintbrushes for watercolor and for acrylic. Let's see. I think, well, I have my watercolors, which I'm going to use too. And you're going to need something to spritz your watercolors, or water bottle or mister or whatever, which I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And close it back up before I get anything in it. And so what we're going to do, I want to set this aside because I'm not ready for it yet. And hopefully I won't dump it. We're going to take these pages, and I've got my front mark, so I'm not going to put anything on that. But if you do, it's not a big deal because it'll be covered up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these papers, bring them back in, not that one, and I'm just going to tear off small pieces. And I don't necessarily want to have a bunch of the same color, but have more than one. Maybe have 2 or 3, because we got several pages to cover. Okay, so I've got this. Now I don't know what kind of red pencil pencil this was. So I'm not going to use that color because it might bleed. But even if it did, it would not be a real big deal. And you're going to want these relatively small because of the fact that your journal is not big. As I'm tearing these off, I'm putting them aside. This has got a number, which is kind of cool. And it's got just some writing, general writing on it. I don't know if I'm going to use this or not, but I thought I would put it out anyway. If I did one, it would just be a small piece. It's just to get different, papers with different colors. you don't necessarily want them all the same, torn the same size. I was hoping I'd run across my shorthand book because I really kind of like putting that in here, but I didn't discover it as I was going through all of this. I may end up making 2 videos out of this, but I don't know for sure. I'm gonna get this handwriting. I'm gonna do this postcard mark with the date on it. This is the envelope with the corresponding letter. I don't know, I haven't read it. Hello, dear. Well, it's 2 pages, so let's don't do that. Folded. I'm gonna tear this off. It makes me feel a little bit guilty about ripping into that, but that's what I got them for. This one I'm gonna, retain the stamp and the postmark. The problem is I didn't have the edge of the paper. When we do this, with creating this book, it actually is going to have papers and the same sort of thing done on both sides of the pages. But I think for today, I'm just going to do, the front page and give you some time to get your things together. And we'll go back and we'll create the next, on the other side. I'll do that, meaning the process won't be any different unless I make it different, which we'll see. It may be different. I don't want a lot of blank pages or blank space that's got a number on it. This one's fairly thick. I like this because it's got the color on it, but I don't know that I necessarily want to put that blank part of the page. This is going to be more than enough for both sides, I think. If not, I have plenty more where this came from. And you can put other types of pages in here as well, papers in here as well, like deli paper or tracing paper, or anything that tissue paper you could put in here too. get all this stuff out of the way. So like I said, I'm not going to put anything on this page. And I'm just going to start here and using my glue stick, I'm going to put down some of these pages on each. I'm going to let me just kind of mix them up so that they're not, the same paper's not all together. Now, I am not a person that, that tries to line things up. So, and I don't mind if the book text is upside down. I just want something on the page, and I'm not going to avoid the fold. I'm not going to avoid that. I ought to be putting this on something besides my book, because then when I close it, it's going to stick together. That comes up, and I'll deal with it. I think it's going to. Okay, so that's enough for that page. And then I'm going to need to kind of, rather than having to hold these down, I want to get a clip and put on it. Let's see. Oh. Just to hold it down so I can work on it easier. And I'm going to stand up and make sure that I'm in frame. Yes, I am. I hope I have been all the time, but if not, just forgive me. Okay, so, and I just said I wanted to do the gluing on a piece of paper and not on a book. I'm not going to necessarily put paper on every fold, but I'm not going to avoid it. Getting up to the next page. You all will join me and make your journal, create in a journal. It doesn't have to be one you created if you don't have time for that, or you don't have the supplies, or whatever the reason might be. I'm not, expecting you necessarily to create a journal, but just use one you've already, one that you've already made, or one that you're, that you bought at a store, whatever you ordered. Just fix. I need to kind of clip it in the middle. I may end up doing the both sides because it's not taking very long. No, maybe not, because I've got some other things I want to do with you. And I don't want this to be an hour-long process. It's a color that I don't have in my color scheme, but I think that's okay. If you think about fall, that is a color that is present in the fall. I live in Virginia, close to the, well, in the valley of this Blue Ridge Mountains, the Virginia Blue Ridge Mountains, and the Parkway is beautiful this time. Well, in a few months, it'll be September, October. Well, it is October, isn't it? It'll be later, probably. And I hope that maybe I can get to drive the Parkway and see some of the leaves. There's also an interstate that goes, that's not too far from here, that has some beautiful mountain scenery too. Okay, that was the last. Let's get this glued down better. This is the last page. Well, it's not glued down, but it's hard to pick up. Well, maybe it is glued down now. Okay, so I've got that done. I've got all these pieces that are left that I'll hang on to and use on the other side. Okay, so what I want to do now is go back and put some of the glue on these that are not sticking. Is I want to start putting some color on these pages. And this is a color that is, that I'm kind of primarily working off of. And let me think. I think I'll use the same paper that I used to glue. And I think I'm just going to use this scraper and put some color on these pages. And you put as much as you want, or as little as much or as little as you want. Some of it on the papers, some of it off the papers, whatever whatever suits you. This is the one that's got that white fingerprint. See if I can do something to make it more visible. I'm going through, and if these pages touch each other, it's not a big deal, but I can also just stretch them out. use the things that you've got. You don't necessarily have to use what I've got. We don't buy anything new. This is that candy wrapper. If you've never had those, they're sugar-free, and they're really good. I'm gonna need some more paint. Well, that's way too much. So you'll be seeing that color again. See, don't avoid the fold, but the fold is what's not sticking. Okay, let's see. I think that's good for this bit. All right, let's see what else I want to do. I want to use some of this distress paint. It's got a dauber, and this paint is really old. I'm not sure if it'll work. I'll have to use a paintbrush for this. And this is kind of a secondary color, so I'm not necessarily going to put it on every page. Okay. Got this spray that I thought I would use. It's a yellow, but it's very faint. It's not really showing up much. I have this gloss spray. That's not the way you're supposed to. Oh, this is never going to open. That's not the way you're supposed to shake it because of the spray nozzle, but sometimes these things are hard to get open. Once you start it, it's okay, but you gotta get it started. Be careful when you're doing that. If I'd known this wasn't open, I either would not have picked it, or I would have opened it before I got on camera. But here I am. They have it now. Okay, let's see what I've got. So this is sage. So it's not a dark green. It's just a pretty soft green. Didn't get this down far enough. Just need it down far enough to get the top back on it. Okay, so I've got this antique bronze, which will give me some shimmer if it works at all, because oh yeah, it's gonna work. There's really no rhyme, no reason about where this stuff is, where the paintings, everything is going. I have a peel paint distress, which is green. I don't know why it's green, but it is. Now you might think this is really colorful. Keep in mind we've got some gesso out, and we also have some Titan buff. All right. So this needs to dry, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video, give you a chance to catch up with what where I am, and then I will do the other part of it. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great weekend, or whatever it is you're watching.